Hi guys, today we are looking at this beautiful 2020 Lexus UX 250h. This is a base model which costs around 42,500 Canadian dollars before taxes, which makes it very affordable luxury vehicle. It is the smallest luxury crossover in Lexus lineup and comes below the Lexus NX. It is bigger than the average hatchback, it is longer, wider and taller than say Toyota Corolla hatchback, but smaller than NX, or as Lexus says, UX fuses SUV versatility with agility of a hatchback. The name UX stands for Urban Explorer. Lexus UX uses TNGA-C platform, which is shared with Toyota Prius, Corolla and Toyota CHR. However, there are differences. UX has aluminum fenders, door panels and the hood. Suspension is also tuned differently from other vehicles using this platform, making it sportier. This is a base version, therefore you have a regular rod in here. The UX 250h uses 2-liter naturally aspired engine combined with hybrid drive system. This version makes 191 horsepower. Engine is mated to a new direct shift CVT that uses gear drive to initially move the vehicle, similar to normal automatic transmission, and then it switches to CVT. This provides better acceleration from the stop. Lexus claims that vehicle gets from 0 to 100 in about 8.6 seconds. UX 250h has electric motor on its rear axle, which gives it all-wheel drive capability. It sends up to 80% of power to the rear at speeds up to 70 km per hour, if rear wheel loses grip. The color that you see is called Nebula Grey Pearl. In the front we see signature Lexus spindle grille, which uses block-shaped mesh pattern to give it a 3D appearance. The vehicle has LED headlights with arrowhead daytime running lights right here. This is a base model, so it does not come with headlight washers and it doesn't have fog lights. On the sides you have black plastic wheel arches and plastic panels that run underneath. The ground clearance is around 6 inches at its lowest point. Vehicle has 18-inch alloy wheels with run-flat tires. The side mirrors are heated. They have blind spot monitor, also turn signal indicator, and again, since it's a base version, they are folded manually. In the back it has tail lamps that have 120 LEDs into one continuous line. They do make the vehicle stand out at night. This sharp portion of the light right here actually has a purpose. It diffuses the air and makes the car more aerodynamic. Reverse LED lights are located close to the ground. The vehicle comes with a smart key. To unlock the door, you just put your hand inside. If you wait for a couple of seconds, it will unlock all 4 doors. To lock it, you just press this indentation either on the driver or the passenger handle. In the front doors you have the holder for the bottles, a small storage space, and also the courtesy light. Seats are made of new Lux material, which in essence is a high-quality synthetic leather. It is lighter and more durable than leather and actually feels very nice and soft. Front seats are heated and ventilated. They are 8-power adjustable. And also have lumbar support. I'm 6 feet tall and I feel very comfortable in the front seat. If I lower the seat all the way, you can see how much room I still have left between my head and the roof. And if I raise the seat all the way up, it actually goes quite far, which means that no matter what your height is, you won't have any issues with visibility or access to vehicle controls. The cockpit is driver-centric and you have easy access to all the controls. All materials are high quality, almost everything is soft touch. When you open or close the front windows, you can see how the glass slows down right before it opens or right before it closes. However, this feature is only available for the front windows and not the rear ones. The steering wheel is heated and leather wrapped. In the base 250h, it is adjusted manually. You can only raise or lower it. In the higher trims, you will get the power tilt and telescope. Here we have headlight controls. Right now it's off, after, DRL, and low beam. Most of the time it will be in after mode. In after you can also engage the automatic high beam by pressing this button. On the right side we have windshield wiper controls, which are rain sensing for both the front one and the rear. The base model does not come with pedal shifters. On the left of the steering wheel you have multi-information display controls, so you can go through different settings. Also you have the phone button, you can answer the calls from here. Here you can change the volume, and this is your voice control. On the right side you have your dynamic cruise control settings here and your radio control buttons. Past the steering wheel you have drive mode selector, so from here you can put the vehicle into the eco mode, sport mode, and back to normal. This changes the throttle response in the vehicle. On the left side you have traction control knob. So by pressing this button you can turn off the traction control. This vehicle does not have it, but as an option you can also get the HUD in this area in higher trims. Down below you have emergency electronic brake button, and right here you have the brake hold button. It is used when, say, you have stopped at the red light. You can press this button and it will keep applying the brakes without you pressing the brake pedal until you press gas pedal again. By pressing this button you will engage the EV mode, which allows you to travel on battery power alone, but only for a short distance and with limited speed. Vehicle has automatic dual zone climate control, and as you can see buttons are seamlessly integrated into the central console. So I'm gonna press after right now, and as you can see you can change the temperature for the driver and the passenger. Lexus has a CD player in this car, which is pretty unusual these days in the era of Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But I'm sure there will be people who will appreciate this as well. Here we have heated seats and steering wheel adjustments. For the seats they are also ventilated, so you can change the intensity or put them in after mode or turn them off completely. Over here we have the 12-volt accessory outlet and the phone storage, which does not come with a wireless charger in this vehicle, but in higher trims it will have it. We have two cup holders right here. The vehicle has this touch pad, which some people don't like, but I think you can get used to it pretty quickly. At least in my experience I didn't have problems with it so far. And this is how it works. I can go to menu, and by sliding my finger it just lets me choose different options. Actually pretty easy. Here we have the climate settings. The infotainment screen in the base version is 7 inches. In the F Sport, for example, it will be 10.3 inches. The system supports both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you can see on the left you have Lexus Watch as well. Lexus has moved the radio and media controls from the upper central console, where you would normally find them, to this area right here. Right where you normally rest your hand, which is pretty unusual and interesting decision in my opinion. It is very easy to reach all controls without looking where the buttons are. Right here you have the radio button, volume and media. So for example, if I press radio, it takes me straight to the radio channels. Volume will again change the volume in the system, and media will take you to the, say, Android Auto if you have your phone currently connected to the system. On the both sides you have two tune buttons, which will tune your radio stations, and you have tune wheel as well. It works in combination with these two buttons on the steering wheel. So let's say we go to the radio, it takes us here, and using these two buttons we can switch radio stations. Since the system is not conventional, it will probably get some time to adjust to it, but once you learn how to use it, it actually works quite well. You have pretty big armrest right here, and the cover can be opened from both sides, so the driver can open it and the passenger can open it as well. So underneath you have a pretty large storage space with two USB ports and one 3.5mm auxiliary input. And also you have here some space for the coins. The glove box opens by pressing this button. You have the small shelf inside, but in general there is not too much space, and also there is no light. The rear view mirror is after dimming. On the ceiling console we have sensor lights, which works by touching the plastic here, and also you have buttons for the moonroof. By pressing this button you will partially open it, and the second button will completely open the moonroof. And you have a small courtesy LED light in the door handle. Let's take a look at the rear space. The car can sit 3 passengers in the back. You have 2 cup holders right here. Also you have 2 USB ports, and you have air vents for the passengers. Currently I'm sitting behind myself. This is my front driving position, and as you can see I'm 6 feet and I still have decent room for my knees, and I have actually enough space for the head. I still have some gap left. So to be honest with you, it's enough for a person like me. Even though the car can sit 3 people in the back, definitely 2 would be the most comfortable. Because this is a base version of 250h, it does not have the kick sensor or power liftgate, so it is manual. The F Sport would come with the hands-free power liftgate. The trunk space is probably the weakest point in this vehicle. For the vehicle positioned as SUV, it is pretty limited, especially in the hybrid. But since it's a hatchback, the rear seats are foldable, and that will definitely provide you more space. If the front seat is too out this way, you can also fold this headrest, like that. And as you can see, Lexus has provided cargo mats in the vehicle. This cargo cover can be removed and folded, and I'll show you how. First, you have to disconnect these two strings. There's a loop right here which needs to be taken off this hook. Then you can take off the cover like that. To fold the cover, you just grab it by two sides like that and just fold it like a book. And then you have this compact cover which you can store easily. The lack of space is partially compensated by these two storage compartments. There is one on the right side and one on the left. On this side is where we can access the battery for the vehicle. When you lift this cover, you can either completely remove it or you can secure it with this string by attaching it to this hook, but I'll completely remove it. The UX has run flat tires, which means it does not have the spare tire, but it has the tools to replace one, which is good. At least you have this. Also, here you have the towing eyelet, and there are two spots in the front of the vehicle and one in the rear for the eyelet. And here you have the lug nut key. Also, as you can see here, we have a small pouch, and this one is actually used to store the cargo cover that we have previously folded. So if I remove this piece, this is what we have in place of our spare in this vehicle. Be careful, it's high voltage, so I wouldn't touch anything here. As you can see, there are more compartments for the storage here as well. There are two lights in the trunk. Also, you have two hooks that fall down. And you have a 12-volt outlet as well. Also, I wanted to say a few things about safety. The UX comes standard with Lexus safety system, which includes pre-collision with pedestrians and bicycles. You have all-speed dynamic cruise control with lane tracing assist. Also, you have after high beams. The vehicle comes with 10 airbags, and also you have standard blind spot monitor, which will alert you with yellow light every time there is a vehicle in the adjacent lane. As I have previously said, the vehicle has 181 horsepower, which is more than the non-hybrid UX 200, which has 168, but it's still far from being best in its class, where you have vehicles like Volvo XC40, for example. Nevertheless, I think it's enough for everyday regular city driving and highway driving. The vehicle is very responsive, and I think it's still fun to drive. And for myself, it does feel more like a hatchback than SUV. Of course, the biggest advantage in this vehicle is gas mileage. It only uses about 6 liters of gas per 100 kilometers, and it only has a 40-liter gas tank. The vehicle also has regenerative braking. What it means is every time you slow down or press the brake pedal, like now, for example, you can see on the screen here it shows the arrow, which means it puts charge back into the battery, which again improves your gas mileage. The vehicle is very comfortable. It is pretty quiet, especially at low RPM. The sound deadening is great. You don't hear too much wind noise or tire noise. Suspension deals well with bumps in the road and provides very smooth ride. Also, I honestly don't have any issues with the CVT that this vehicle has, and I believe that for majority of population it will be completely fine. In the end, I can say that if you're looking for affordable Lexus, this is a great option. It does offer a lot of value for the money. It has unique styling, lots of luxury features, beautifully built interior. Being a hybrid, you get great fuel efficiency. It offers much more cargo space than a sedan, for example. It is small enough to easily park it or move you through the city. And because it is still a Toyota, you do get bulletproof reliability. It is definitely an option to consider.